And at those moments when there is a lot of wind power electricity in the grid, the most expensive fossil power stations stop operating, and because of that the marginal price goes down, and that way also the short-term market price of electricity. And a study of the German government has got the result that the impact of this, how of wind power interfering the electricity market, lowering the electricity price, is 3 times as much as the extra price paid for wind power. So it has not raised but reduced the electricity bills of the consumers.
One quick point, and then we'll have one final question.
That's a very important point that Satu brought up that I should have mentioned. The feed-in tariff does add extra cost to the price of electricity for the average German household, just because it also supports solar PV and other renewables as well that aren't as cheap as wind is. But the government estimates that that comes to about the price of a loaf of bread every month for the average German household. And when they look at how much that adds to the cost of electricity, and then all the benefits in terms of environmental benefits and health and climate and energy security, and not having to import fuels from other countries, they figure the economic benefit, it actually dramatically outweighs the economic costs of the policy. And over the next several years, as they ramp up the share of renewables, that cost per month is expected to continue rising, and just to a point where, through economies of scale and advancements in technology, but also expected rising costs of fossil fuels, renewables will start becoming cheaper, and then those costs will begin coming back down again. So,
who wants to ask the final question? Ray Anderson.
I wonder, Satu, if you could tell us what the United States should learn from Europe and how to implement cap and trade.
Thanks for the question. I think that you can learn both from successes and failures. That cap and trade legislation which we are following now until 2012, one of the weaknesses has been that it's governments who in each member country who allocate the emission permits to the companies, and this has led to too generous allocation. And in the first emission trading period, which was from 2005 to 2007, this led to collapse of the market price. Anyway, even this first period brought the issue of emissions to the cost and earnings calculation of the business management. So even that first 3 years period brought us to the management thinking. Emissions are now part of the management thinking in all companies which belong to the emission trading sectors. And a second a kind of failure or issue which we can learn to do better was that because of free allocation and because of this electricity market, which actually I described that the short-term price follows the marginal price. The power companies have cashed the price of emission permits from the consumers, although they have mainly got the permits for free, and which has led to fairly massive windfall profits. And that's exactly the reason why power sector will be brought to auctioning. So from 2013 onwards, they have to pay or buy from the auctioning market all their emissions. So, well, at least these, but of course there are many other issues which you can learn.
Well, let me thank the panel, which has been not only incredibly informative, but something rather unusual in this field, an all-female climate panel, which and important to say that we didn't design that. These were just the 4 smartest people we could find to talk today. And with that, let me introduce our closing keynote speaker. Marcel Brenninkmeier is the founder and chairman of Good Energies, which is an investment group he founded in 2001 that invests exclusively in energy technologies that will help solve the climate crisis. Started very small, started focusing initially just on solar energy, has now developed quite an exciting and broad portfolio, and has really become the leading specialized investor in these technologies worldwide, which has given Marcel a great view of the way things are developing, understanding different markets, the role of policy in the world, and I think it's great that we can close with a private sector point of view, because it is absolutely clear that while government policy is the key framework to get this process moving, we're going to need a lot of capital, and we're going to need a lot of new business practices. We're going to need a lot of private sector innovation if we're going to actually change not only the energy system, but ultimately agriculture, forestry, and other parts of the economy as well. So thank you so much, Marcel, from coming all the way from Switzerland to be with us today, and we're looking forward to your final words on today's program.